Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Saturday. It's the 18th of January 2020. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from Aqueduct, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Great card today from Aqueduct with the two stakes races we have, and but there's always a but, especially in the middle of January with the weather. We might get some wet weather, could turn into snow, so just keep that in mind. But hopefully it goes through because, like I said, it's a great card today. Basically up until Monday, great cards here in New York, so hopefully we'll be looking at the rest of them on YouTube. But let's get to the stakes action here on Saturday from Aqueduct. Races 7 and 8. The 7th race, it's the Franklin Square Stakes, purse $100,000, race for 3-year-old fillies, New York Brits. Field of 8 horses going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs, main track, and I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes, just bear with me. One thing that bothers me about this race, they've been running it now 3 years, I want to say, and I keep saying they should always run this race at Belmont, because first things first, it's closer to Franklin Square, and that's the main thing. They should just run it there. Franklin Square is basically just right down the road. Aqueduct's in the middle of Ozone Park, right by Howard Beach and JFK over there, and Woodhaven. Why are they running it at? Why are they running the Franklin Square there when it should be at Belmont, which is right there? You wouldn't run the Howard Beach Stakes at Belmont, would you? But the top selection here in the Franklin Square, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse, Big Q. We'll go 2-1-4-3 in the superfecta, 2-1-4-3 super. Top selection 2 horse, Big Q. The trio filly by Big Brown. Gary Gullah trains. John Velazquez gets the mount coming in from South Florida. John Velazquez yesterday won a race at Gulfstream. Probably 80 degrees down there in South Florida and Hallandale Beach. Now up here in Ozone Parks, probably it's going to be about 35 degrees in New York City. So it's going to be a fun change of scenery for him. But this Big Q, his most recent start was a disaster in the New York Stallions at Belmont. At Aqueduct 6.5 furlongs. 7 furlongs on the mud. He finished 6th by 9 3/4 lengths, sent off as a 50 cents to the dollar favorite. He was just very lackadaisical all through the run. He never got into it. It was wide, and he just never showed up. Maybe the wet track had something to do with it, but before that, he probably ran the race of his life in the Key Sense at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs there on the 16th of November. He won by 5 off the bench. He just kept going. You can even forgive him hitting the gate going out of it, but he kept going, winning by 5, a very easy run. And then the start prior, he ran the Seeking the Ante at Saratoga, 6.5 furlongs, 23rd of August. He finished 5th by 11 1/4 lengths there. He was very wide, and he just never really excelled there. And then before that, they ran him in the Adirondack, where he ran 5th, moving up a little bit that day, but he had a little bit of a trouble trip also. But he broke his maiden against Sabre at Saratoga very nicely before that. He's been training well since the last one. John Velazquez probably had a choice with this horse. He could have went with the Pletcher horse or with this Gary Gullah Big Q. He chose this one, so he must think high of it. 4-1. Let's give him a shot. So to recap my selection for the 7th from Aqueducts to Franklin Square, let's take the 2 horse Big Q. We'll go 2-1-4-3 in the superfecta. The 8th race feature of the afternoon from Aqueduct, it is the Toboggan Stakes, Grade 3, purse $150,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 9 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the 7 furlong trip on the main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs here in the Toboggan. The top selection, we'll go with the number 2 horse, who is American Anthem. We'll go 2-4-8-1 in the superfecta, 2-4-8-1 super. Top selection 2 horse, American Anthem, 6-year-old horse by Bodemeister. Danny Gargan trains this one. Manny Franco gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 12th of October at Keeneland, 7 furlongs and optional 150 claimer, and the horse finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths. He stalked early on. He was closing up well. He didn't have the best trips, but he still ran a decent 4th that day at 50 cents a dollar. Since then, I believe he was sold at one of the sales or private purchase. So he's with the new trainer of Gargan and new owner today of Don Tiger. So different connections. Has been training well since they got him back in November. But before that, he was trained by Rudolph Brissett for one start at Keeneland. Prior to that, he was trained by Bob Baffert in Southern California at Del Mar, 7 furlongs in the Pat O'Brien, where he finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths. And he was very wide that day, and he just wasn't getting to the 2 in front of him. Were just much better. Those horses were Catalina Cruiser and John X trifectation, so there were good horses there. And then before that, Del Mar 6 Snap Op 6-2. It was his most recent winner, winning by 3/4 length. He stalked, he got the lead, and then he just held on to a very nice victory, beating some decent horses there. And then before that, at Santa Anita, 7 furlongs in the Grade 2 Triple Bend, he finished 4th by 2 lengths. He was very wide that day, but he held his own out against some tougher horses. He only won once in 2019, but in 2018 he only had 3 starts, but he ran 2 good races. He actually won the San Carlos and won a very nice Churchill optional claimer in 2018. I like him a lot. 7-2. Let's take him. Nicodemus, I think, is a very likely winner also if there's going to be a pace meltdown. 5-1 we'll use him, and also Mind Control could definitely win on paper at 2-1, but he's facing all the horses the first time, and he also finds his own way to get in trouble at times, so I can't trust him all the time, but he can win on ability. But like I said, he has to stay away from the trouble. But to recap my selections now for the 8th from Aqueducts, Grade 3 Toboggan. Let's take the 2-horse American Anthem. We'll go 2-4-8-1 in the superfecta. We'll go 2-4-8 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.